So NeutroGen Therapeutics is our company, and I would like to talk to you today about how we are pioneering transfusion therapies, as already mentioned, with an as yet unused cell, and this is the neutrophil. So I think I don't have to convince anyone that our blood is rather crucial for our survival. And I would like to talk you through the three cell types that mediate its main functions. And so I think the most well-known cell that occurs in our blood is probably the red blood cell that transports oxygen from our lungs and distributes it throughout our entire body into all the organs and tissues. And so in the clinical reality, when we lose our red blood cells and develop a stage called anemia, what is done is that these cells are transfused back into the body as red blood cell concentrates generated from healthy donor material. Now, the same thing is true for the second most abundant cell type, which is a platelet. And platelets basically clog wounds and thereby induce healing when our body gets injured. And same as for red blood cells, if we lose our platelets, we can get a platelet transfusion from healthy donor material. Now, the third most abundant cell is called a neutrophil. And neutrophils are immune cells that have really evolved to patrol through the body and to find and kill microbes, and thereby basically protect us from any type of invasion of our body. And so, unfortunately, despite research that actually started in the 1960s, to this day, neutrophils, because of their specific characteristics, cannot be transfused from healthy donor material in an efficient way. And so what that means is that if we lose our neutrophils, we become extremely susceptible to life-threatening infections. This state, called neutropenia, actually puts more than 10 million people every year at risk of developing these type of infections. But also it means that these patients have to be isolated and spend significant time in intensive care units. And so this is not only a huge burden for the patients themselves, but also, of course, for our healthcare systems. And so our solution to this problem is that we can basically grow neutrophils in the lab, and we will be able to supply them as a neutrophil transfusion therapy that will be available on demand to clear these infections in neutropenic patients, and thereby decrease their death rates and decrease the time that these patients have to spend in ICU. And so we can do this because we have developed a method with which we can generate fully functional neutrophils. So what we do is we start with a hematopoietic stem cell that we can isolate from healthy donor material, which we then transfer to a bioreactor, where we differentiate and expand the cells over a 2-week process into these cells. And so what we envision to do in the future then is to supply neutrophil concentrates frozen to the clinics where they can be reconstituted on site and then injected into the patients within 24 hours in order to save their lives and really keep them out of the intensive care units. Because we have this differentiation step that happens in vitro in the bioreactor, that makes the cells amenable to genetic modification. And so long-term, we envision to really develop this technology into a platform approach where we can basically target this killing potential of the neutrophils towards, for example, cancer cells, thereby kind of positioning ourselves in the field of solid tumor therapy, but also into autoimmunity, where we could imagine basically targeting the neutrophils to autoreactive B cells. And so with that, I hope that I've convinced you that we really are the pioneers of neutrophil transfusion therapy, and we are looking for seed financing right now. So if you're interested, you can visit our website, NeutroGenTherapeutics.com, or contact us via this email address, or just come and find me and talk to me later. And thank you for your attention.